Hello and welcome everybody. Root Beer here with more math contests. Specifically, we're going to be taking a look at question number 20 on the Pascal paper from the year 2001. So this is the last question in Part B, and if you're aware of the marking scheme of these contests, Part B is worth 6 marks. A little more than Part A and less than Part C. But question 20, last question at the end of Part B, it should be a little challenging. Let's take a look at it together. Hopefully you've already had a look at it. Already tried the contest, and you just hear comparing solutions. Because that's the best way to learn, is to try it for yourself. Okay. Question 20. Square ABCD has an area of 4. Well, it's a square, area of 4. My mind is already kicking in. What's the square root of 4? It's 2. So we should have a side length of 2 here. Don't know if that's going to be helpful, but that's just that's something that my brain immediately jumps to after the very first sentence. Okay, E is the midpoint of AB. Well, here's E. Similarly, we have F, G, H, and I are the midpoints of DE, CF, DG, and CH, respectively. So they put in E, and they connected it up to this corner D, and then we put in F, connected that up to C, and then put the midpoint G in there, connected that to D, midpoint H, connected that to C, and then we have this midpoint here, I. All right. The area of triangle IDC is, all right. Well, we have DC as a base, so if we started thinking about the 1/2 base times height formula, we'd be all set because DC is the side length of the triangle, and as I blurted out immediately, we have a side length of 2. So if we knew the distance from I to the line DC, we'd be all set. Can we work that out? Well, let's draw the picture a little bit at a time and see what we can see. Not enough room there. I think we're going to have to get another piece of paper. So I know it doesn't look completely square, but that's okay. I think I said a couple videos ago, as long as you know what's going on, it doesn't really matter. I see some people always reach for their ruler. That's a little bit of a waste of time, and not the best thing to do. So if we were to just look at, well, actually we do connect. Oh no, sorry, this is D. C's on the other side. I just did it the wrong way again. D, and then C over here. So that clockwise it reads A, B, C, D. Okay. So if we just add in E and then we connect up DE, if we were to stop and take a look at this triangle right here, well, what would we have? We'd have a base of 2. And we'd have a height that is the same as the triangle, so we'd have a height of 2. And we can use the 1/2 base times height formula on that. But we're not trying to figure out the area of triangle DEC, because we added in this midpoint F. And we connected it up to C. So if we wanted to figure out with this triangle, well, we'd have the same base, but do we have the same height? No, we don't quite have the same height. But we can figure out the height because we have a common angle here. So if we just call this J for a moment. We have a common angle here. We have the same right angle here. So we're going to get the same angle up here. So a triangle D FJ is going to be similar to triangle DE. We don't have a name for this point either. Let's call it K. Alright. They're similar, but they're not exactly the same. But we do know that F is the midpoint of DE, which breaks it in two. So DF over DE is going to be 1/2. But because they're similar triangles, all their side lengths have a common ratio. So that means FJ, which is the height, over EK is also 1/2. Well, I know what EK is. It's 2. So we get a side length of 2 here. Or, sorry, not a side length. We get an altitude of 1 here. So when we take the midpoint, the base stayed the same, but the altitude dropped by 1/2. And now we take the midpoint of FC, and we got point G. And maybe we want to talk about its altitude as well. Well, we can once again take a look, and we have similar triangles, because we got these right angles here, so just having this common angle here is enough to realize that that triangle CFJ is going to be similar to triangle CGL. But once again, since G is a midpoint, I know that GC over FC is going to be 1/2. But because they're similar, I have a common ratio in my sides. So FJ over GL is also going to be, GL over FJ. But I know what FJ is. I worked that out in the when I was doing triangles in blue. So GL is actually FJ times 1/2. And that's 1/2 of 1, which is just going to be 1/2. So every time we take the midpoint here, we get a smaller and smaller altitude for a triangle. So 1/2, and then when we move down to H, and I'll just draw an eye right now, H will have 1/2 the altitude that G had, so it'll be 1/4, and I will have 1/2 the altitude of 1/4, so it'll be 8, or 1/8. So triangle DIC, 1/2 base times height. So that's 1/2, and base is 2, and the height, as we just said, is 1/8, sorry. The 2 and the 1/2 are going to cancel out. We'll just be left with 1/8. And I believe 1/8 was one of the possible answers. There it is. It's B. And that does question 20. So fittingly, we ended part B with an answer of B. And we're going to move right on in to part C, question number 21. And we'll start that in the next video. So thank you guys for watching. And I'll see you next time.